So I surfed the net the other day on YouTube and I found this channel of this guy called Tanner. The channel was Surfer Design, and he makes these amazing terrariums and waterfalls and stuff. And anyway, check it out. So it inspired me to make a terrarium. So this is my first terrarium, and it's going to be a native New Zealand terrarium. So let's get into it. So the first thing you want to do is you want to measure out your gauze, and this is just an insect screen. I've cut off an old insect screen. You want to put gauze down between that and your gravel at the base, and that's basically a filter to stop organic material flowing down into your drainage base. If you get organic stuff in there, then you're going to start getting rot and green slime in there, so you don't want that. Anyway, I cut in the screen, and I was pretty rough about it, I guess, and actually cut it a bit too, didn't cut it down enough, which gave me a few problems later on. But anyway, easy to cut. It's plastic sort of screen, insect screen, just use normal scissors. Once you're happy with the screen, just pull it out and put your bottom layer on of gravel. I used a decorative gravel I bought from like a Chinese $2 shop. So just make sure it's all washed and clear of dirt and stuff. You don't want any organic matter at this layer at all. This is just pure filter, drainage filter. Okay, I put some in, decided I needed to put a bit more in. Probably want about a third of your layers in gravel and then 2/3 dirt. So probably put a bit too much gravel in, but anyway, better too much than not enough. Even it all out, you want a stick. You want to have a nice stick, just for like I'm doing there, leveling everything out and tamping things down. So a nice little stick comes in handy. Okay, once you've got it leveled out, then put your filter on, your screen filter. Remember, this is to catch all the organic stuff from your dirt and stop it going down and creating humus amongst the gravel. So anyway, here I've got just normal potting mix, and I've mixed it with a bit of crushed up charcoal. So any old barbecue charcoal, make sure it's organic and not coal based, and just put it in a bag, pound it into fine bits, and then mix it in with your potting mix. Get that all level, tamp it down, and that's your base layer. So you remember the roots of your plants are eventually going to move into this layer. Okay, once you've got that flat, then you want to put your main elements in, just to make sure everything's going to fit right. I started with this big rock, which is it's a cool rock, and I'm going to put this old stick in with cool mushrooms on it, which I knew were going to die at some stage. But anyway, so I'm measuring the stick, and I'm breaking down the end to make sure it fits right. I decided to break down the end by hand rather than using a saw and cutting it on that one, the end that's going to be sticking out the top, because you don't want a nice flat end. You want it, you want it to look natural. It's broken. So anyway, so I'm measuring that up, and that's what it looks like. But the problem is, of course, too big an element in there, the rock, and I couldn't put anything around it. So I started putting my moss in, and realised that it was going to basically be a terrarium of just a rock. So take the rock out. Okay, so I put this other element in. It was another thing I'd picked up. It's actually some sort of old brick, very very old brick, well worn edges, and it had cool moss growing on it and a couple of little plants. So that became my main element. Now I'm putting in the main plant. small native tree, a native seedling out of the forest. Now natives don't do well if you disturb their roots, I found. So I've got a lot of the actual poor soil it was growing in around the roots to protect it, so you can see that different colour covered dirt there. Get that in position, and then start putting my moss in. Again, native moss. Lots of different mosses in New Zealand. It's pretty humid climate in most places, especially inside underneath the canopy of the forest. Put some more moss in, and just pushing it in, and just getting it in contact with the base layer of soil so that the roots can just keep working down rather than having air gaps at all. Again, stick comes in handy. This is my first time doing it. Pretty random sort of thing for me to do, and my channel's normally about travel. I have this travel channel and a political commentary channel, but anyway, pretty random, but somebody wanted me to show them how to do it, so I thought I'd video this, even though it's my first time, but it's not a complicated job. So you can see my two little trees in there. They're all in position. Most of my moss is all how it's gonna be. Got one more native I decided to put in there just to fill it out a bit more. It's a beautiful little rata. So it's going to be a nice little tree. I'm not sure how they grow into huge big trees. So I'm just figuring that maybe this is like bonsai, and because it's in a confined area it'll just stay the size. Who knows? I don't know. But I can always just open up the lid and prune it from time to time. This is going to be an enclosed terrarium, which means that there's no air. I'm going to put a lid on it. And so the water that I put in there is going to just recycle. It's going to flow down through, evaporate, go up, and then kind of rain off the lid again into it. Here I'm just working out how I'm going to put the stick in with the fungus on. Nice and firm so it doesn't move around, and try and make it look pretty natural. I wish those mushrooms were going to last. I knew they wouldn't last, but I thought, well, who knows what'll happen when they die. Maybe they'll sprout new ones again. I don't know how it works. So there we go. It's pretty simple, but it looks alright to me. First attempt. So once everything's in position, all the elements are in position, you're happy with the final thing, you want to give it a water. You give it a good water, and this being New Zealand plants, they can handle lots of water. So went fairly heavy on the water. That also, of course, washes all the bits of dirt and stuff off the sides of the jar, so it looks cleaner and you can see in there better. That's the layers right there. You can see how my gauze filter was a little bit too big and it's sticking up the sides, and you just want to put enough water in so that you can see the water in the gravel at the bottom, but it's not puddling and running up the sides, it's not filling up the ups, just you see moisture around the actual gravel.